happening is it looks like you guys are remaking the original game, and this is like a ground-up remake. Is that right?
That's right. We wanted to give people the definitive version of the first game.
Because this is bullshit.
There's a whole set of mechanics that are appropriate for clickers in The Last of Us Part 1 that would kind of be subverted if you could dodge away from them.
Bullshit!
So you should be able to play that fight 10 different ways and have the AI respond 10 different ways.
I'm playing bullshit!
The more realistic art style just grounds you in that experience. It makes it more frightening. It enhances the tension so much, and your heart is in your chest the whole time you're sneaking around these clickers. It's terrific.
No. He's got a point.
CJ has to bet, and he's also dumb. Even though he's blind, he's not very fun. He has his own talk show, it's every gamer's dream. It's a crazy little talk show, and it's called Cookies and Cream.
Here at Cookies and Cream, where the glass of milk is always half full and the clickers never shut up, we follow the mantra of gaming with a purpose. Now that goes both ways. Playing a game with ideas in mind of what you want to accomplish, and the game playing you.
Bullshit!
And games essentially teaching us a life lesson. Back in the late life cycle of the PS3, a title by the name of The Last of Us came out. With over 230 Game of the Year awards, this title is regarded by many to be the perfect video game, and the pioneer of Sony's format for their major first-party IPs ever since. Early in the PS4 lifespan, we saw a remaster to this title, and roughly 8 years later, we are seeing it released again on the PS5 for a full whopping $70 without even buying us dinner first.
Now, I have allotted us each $8 per meal, so it looks like you can get one of the salads or a soup. Sorry, I'm quick. The tomato soup for me, please. That'll do it.
I'm gonna take a full slab of the baby backs, and I'm gonna take that with mashed taters, hush puppies, and I'm gonna get I'm gonna have a sweet tea.
The fuck you are.
Now, the topic of whether this is a worthwhile investment has been ran into the ground. So today, I want to pick out a few sections within The Last of Us Remake Part 1 that are dramatically improved by what the PS5 has to offer. The Last of Us Part 1 clearly stands tall as one of the greatest gaming experiences of all time. But why exactly is this? I think the true beauty of this title can be summed up in one sentence. The Last of Us takes the skeletal structure of a post-apocalyptic zombie tale and infuses it with so many unique scenarios and choices made by the characters that heavily subverts the player's own expectations, going far beyond the humanity is the true villain cliché that so many other zombie flicks fall victim to. The cast is well acted and voiced by some of the pinnacle vocal talent in the industry.
I think it's stuck. It's not...
What? No. Oh, ha ha.
Where did you get the money for this?
Drugs. I sell hardcore drugs.
Oh, good. You started helping out with the mortgage then.
Yeah, you wish.
The combat is brutal and answered an age-old question in the gaming community. How do we solve for narrative dissonance? For those new to the term, let's take this game called Uncharted. A brilliant third-person action adventure that is basically the video game version of Indiana Jones. Every title follows a comedic, lighthearted nature in which at the end our main protagonist Nathan Drake realizes the actual treasure they were looking for is the family and friends all around.
What do we have here?
Careful.
Christ almighty.
Just kidding.
The game is another banger, but in between the major plot points, we go through puzzles, exploration, and combat. This is where the narrative dissonance comes into play. By the end of the series, this loving family man who has a heart of gold and always saves the day has also murdered at least 1,800 people with his bare hands, weapons, explosives, you name it. 1,800 people. And he has absolutely zero psychological trauma.
Bullshit!
Holy shit. Yeah. You good? Yeah.
Shit me!
I think I saw a film like this once. With games, you have to suspend your disbelief in a lot of cases. How do you create a video game where the story being told cannot be contradicted by the actions taken by the player? The company that made Uncharted had the answer to this. And that was The Last of Us. Full circle. Frick yeah. The Last of Us has the gameplay actions synchronized with where the story is. When your main character, who lost his family in a tragic incident early in the outbreak, takes down other people without remorse, I can believe it.
Stop it! He's with me! He is with me!
Dad, put the gun down!
Put down the gun!
You assholes do exactly what I say, or I will take you outside and fuck you in the street!
No! Don't do that!
Don't fuck us anywhere!
Having to loot homes for minimal scrap in order to maintain weapons that have degraded since the fall of civilization? I can believe it. When the characters flinch and need to manually wrap themselves in whatever medical equipment they can make, and when characters struggle to bond and build relationships with one another, given the context of the world, I believe it. Every opportunity you have to make an action in this world is believable, with the story enhancing the stakes for each character involved. That's why The Last of Us is held in such high regard, especially with a narrative that ends in such a manner that completely recontextualizes the entire game, opening up debates where both sides have strong arguments for and against. The game understands what it wants to ask, but allows the player to experience firsthand the fundamental elements to answer the question for themselves in this world. So that's a lot to get right. Now, why don't we jump into a few sections in The Last of Us Remake Part 1 to see what has been transformed.
Easy.
Please!
Holy shit. Are we gonna help him?
Put your seatbelt on, Ellie.
Well, what about the guy?
He ain't even hurt.
Alone and forsaken by fate and by man. Oh Lord, if you hear me, take my hand.
So let's take a look at a few gameplay sections. It makes sense to start with the introduction. The visual fidelity, of course, it's outstanding. But the entire theme of the opener is to show just exactly how foobar the situation is, alongside the realism and hysteria of the account.
Keep looking at me, baby.
The 3D audio enhances the explosions outside, the echoes of screams in the distance, the infected people running amok, the distant emptiness in the household, all combine to heighten the atmosphere, especially for the little girl you play as. The lighting itself highlighting the darkness outside, the uncertainty of events to come, the burning embers on buildings with smoke and particle effects galore, the fires and explosions both deafening and engulfing.
Turn here, turn here. No. Come on, people, move.
What are they running from?
Get us out of here.
I'm trying.
Oh no.
We can't stop here, Tommy. I can't fucking drive through them. Then go back up there. They're behind me too. There. Hold on. Go.
The reflective surfaces on windows and concrete puddles, showing just the schizophrenic reactions of each person. It's a marvelous introduction, where the core atmosphere of the experience is dramatically improved, leading to a cutscene that has only become just that much more impactful.
It's okay, baby. We're safe. We're safe. Hey, we need help.
Stop!
Please. It's my daughter. I think her leg is broken.
Stop right there!
Okay. We're not sick.
Got a couple of civilians in the outer perimeter. Please advise.
Daddy, what about Uncle Tommy?
We're gonna get you to safety and go back for him, okay?
Sir, there's a little girl. But... Yes, sir.
Somebody, we've just been through hell. Okay, we just need... Shit. Please don't.
Oh no.
Sarah. Move your hands, baby. I know, baby, I know. God. Listen to me. I know this hurts, baby. You're gonna be okay, baby. Stay with me. All right, I'm gonna pick you up. I know, baby. I know it hurts. Come on, baby, please. I know, baby. I know. Sarah. Baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Come on. No. 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 Please. Please don't. Please.
One of Neil Druckmann's goals for The Last of Us was to say more with less. Utilize various actions to tell the story of the characters, allowing for the player to connect the dots. We see facial expressions and the immediate decay of Joel after this cutscene. Of course, playing this scene with the PS3 or even the PS4 version will show dramatic differences, but the true power of the motion capture technology lies in the physicality of the actors. Games like The Walking Dead use shell shading to mask graphical fidelity, putting more emphasis on the cast's voice work to carry scenes.
He's bitten! We gotta throw him out! I'm gonna kill him, Cat!
You wanna get violent, you old fuck? Well, come on!
I don't know who you are or what you did, but you better become a better liar fast.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry I wasn't here.
The Last of Us had a stellar cast, so getting to see the full extent only further elevates every scene. Take this scene for example. We see the weakening of muscles juxtaposed with the tension of not letting go. The tears and loss of life across both in the scene. Slight subtle changes in facial recognition that truly shows a good father that never got the chance to be the hero so many narratives at the time would tell.
could talk about like this brand new AI, like all the combat is redone.
Back in The Last of Us 1.
Well, it's the whole, like all the new animation system, the new AI system, everything we've learned on like Uncharted 4.
Bullshit. Now, a lot of people wrote this off as PR speak to hype up the release. An issue is that AI will act accordingly based on the environments they are in. Similar to like if you took a little, like say if you took a shark in an ocean and put it in a tank. They claim to have updated the AI to better reflect what the sequel offered, but the level layout in The Last of Us Remake Part 1 stayed the same, meaning that whatever improvements were made will not be noticeable given the limitations for said AI to act. However, not all set pieces in The Last of Us are linear or condensed. Take the scene where Ellie first learns to shoot a rifle.
You seem to know your way around a gun. You reckon you can handle that?
Well, I sort of shot a rifle before, but it was at rats.
Rats?
With BBs.
Well, it's the same basic concept. Lift it up. All right, now, you're gonna lean right into that stock, because it is gonna kick a hell of a lot more than any baby rifle.
Okay.
Go and pull the bolt back. Grab it right there. Just tug it. There you go. And as soon as you fire, you're gonna want to get another round in there quick. Listen to me. If I get into trouble down there, you make every shot count. Yeah.
I got this.
All right.
You are holding off against waves of raiders in an arena that is shaped like a horseshoe. The player can choose to stay in the middle behind cover, move to the left side with some more cover and a clear vantage point over the center of the map, or even cross right into a two-story cafe with scaffolding that can also be used as a sniping vantage point. Based on what the player does or goes to, the enemy AI has enough room to freely react in unique ways. They'll bum rush you, flank you from either side.
He must not know who I am. I'm the juggernaut, bitch! I'm gonna hit you with your own pimp!
Take notes of your current health, follow your footsteps, and provide some organic situations the player will have to respond to. These moments, while not often, are a blast and only go to heighten the point of this set piece, to illustrate Joel's growing relationship with Ellie, his reliability on her to survive, and the camaraderie between the two that is essential to see this journey through. This is a clear example where AI adjustments for the remake had dramatic improvements, all of which elevating these points. This brings us into another interesting gameplay addition, the haptic feedback. Now, this advancement in controller technology basically creates a dynamic vibration in the controller that mimics what is going on within the game. For example, if you are hit on the left side, the left part of the controller will vibrate softly or intensely given the severity of the hit. If you are being rained on, the controller will mimic rain droplets instead of a constant vibration. Every gun will feel different with the triggers tensing up to create the feeling of drawing a bow back and holding it, to pumping a shotgun, or pulling a trigger with no bullets left. Every item and every weapon in this game has a distinct feeling to it, to the point that you can close your eyes and are able to tell what item you are using in the game. This extra physicality only goes to further magnify the brutality in the world. And what starts as a shocking feeling for the player becomes an emotional tool for survival, just like these survivors within the world of The Last of Us. The last major gameplay section I want to look at is the sewer section. This serves as roughly the halfway point and sees Joel and Ellie team up with another group they ran into by happenstance. On a sidebar, sewer sections in games normally suck or exist for padding, hence why they suck. Though shout out to Naughty Dog, cause the sewer section here is quite engaging. The remake takes the atmosphere to 11, and this section ultimately sees the biggest gameplay improvements. Take the lighting in the original version, not as organic. It's trying to recreate darkness, but has a muddied look given the limitations of the hardware at the time. With the power of modern day lighting capabilities, this section now looks quite realistic. If you are not near a light source or using your flashlight, it will be pitch black, just like it would in real life. Add in the fact you are trapped in here with numerous creatures, and just the strength in lighting alone vastly improves the fear factor in the player.
Look out!
Well, I guess we know what happened to these people.
Seeing how there was a clicker, they've been gone for a while.
Not to mention the 3D audio being put to work with the echoing effects of these stalker enemies. Given a claustrophobic nature with a sprinkle of uncertainty, all leading to an epic standoff that sees our protagonists break into the blinding daylight, with our eyes even having to readjust just like they would in real life. This entire section is a roller coaster of emotions brought out by our willingness to survive in undesirable conditions, all of which the remake improves on. Not to mention the textures of the environment. Paintings can be defined by their textures, oil pastels and so on. Well, so can gaming. The dampness in the environment with scattered school supplies, kitchen utensils, equipment, traps, and so on all provide a beautiful example of environmental storytelling. The entire history of this area throughout your time here is organically discovered by the player, meaning you also get the task of piecing the puzzle together yourself. Not to mention in areas where it feels humid, through the use of what we have already discussed, this environment is a dramatic contradiction as it feels cold and abandoned. The leap in physics and items on screen mixed together with the detail on each individual item only further enhances our ability to not just watch a story unfold, but to experience it firsthand as if we were there. Further allowing The Last of Us to get invested with the characters on screen.
Joel, that's them! Sam!
Oh, thank God. We gotta keep running. Hurry, over there.
Sam!
Run! Too many of them!
Ellie, get away from the door! Maybe if we push it together.
The idea of a remake is funny, to the point people have made thousands of dollars just talking about the difference between a remaster and a remake. Also reboots, which is a can for another day. Some remakes, like Demon Souls, add dramatic improvements to the graphical fidelity, while others, like Resident Evil 2, go on to remix scenes and set pieces in the original to provide dynamic gameplay situations. Others, like Final Fantasy VII, that's definitely a video topic I need to hit. All three of these aim to recapture the intent of the original experience, along with the emotions gamers felt in each scenario. The Last of Us Part 1 Remake does that. Sure, the multiplayer in the previous iteration is no longer accessible, but when it comes to the evolutions made to the single-player experience, this version becomes the definitive way to experience it, whether for the first time or a repeat playthrough. The fact there are numerous scenes that made me feel the same way, and in some cases even more so, that I did back when I played this on the PS3 and PS4 is all that needs to be said. Not much needed to change outside of graphical enhancements, as The Last of Us on its own still stands the test of time. The pacing and storytelling is transcendent in the industry. The mechanics are rarely dated, and the overall experience still feels modern. Arguing the price point is pointless, as those who wanted to experience this surely will have already bought it. And those that wanted to boycott it probably won't pick it up anytime soon. I can honestly say this title isn't for everybody. And the value proposition, just like the ending for The Last of Us Part 1, is debatable. But for anyone who has yet to play it, or is itching for another run-through of this beloved classic, then this can be an easy recommendation. The Last of Us aged like fine wine, and when it hits a price point that is reasonable for you, don't forget that just like the original that released, it's well worth your time.